lame niggas.
No. So when we talk demographics, you also have to include age in there, right? Because that's a marketing term when you say
Nigga, you
demographics.
got lame, old, and young niggas. What you mean?
Right. So let's say they lame young cats, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we honing in on. That's the predatory behavior. That is the reason for that documentary on Netflix, right?
So
My
again,
point is
so
I
Miller,
just would not center in on Fresh and Fit. And I know they're the easy scapegoats. There
gotcha.
are a ton of people that came up off of relationship conversations and pitting black men against black women and dividing the community. I participated on the stage that did that. Right?
So Taz,
But
would
you
you
didn't do
consider
it
Angry
though.
Man a predator? Hey Taz, would you consider the Angry Man a predator?
Oh, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And again, the thing I think with him that
Sharon
I
ain't
see
shit.
now is he ain't as much.
I
He
ain't,
don't do it.
I ain't gonna participate in that one. Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, I ain't even for the dissing though. I ain't even for the dissing though, for real. I ain't even for the dissing though.
Yeah,
I ain't for the diss. I ain't even for the dissing though, for real. I'm gonna tell you the
Nah,
real though. Like there
Y'all
was a
ain't got
time
to visit y'all.
again
I just called Sharon out.
where
Go ahead, Taz.
Don't get scared
Hold
now.
up.
We holding people accountable. We holding predators accountable.
Hold on, that's the conversation. That's the conversation. Hold on. Me personally, I feel like you should only have that conversation unless he here.
Hold up.
I
No.
don't speak
Because
on niggas unless
he
they
just brought up he just brought up Fresh and
on.
Fit.
Hold on.
He brought up Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. They're not
No,
here.
I'm
So I
talking
don't
about
see
people that
how it's okay
no.
to
I'm
talk
talking
about
about
the other ones
I'm
when
talking
they're
about
not
people.
You got a
here.
point, Trey.
Come on.
Hold on. I'm talking about people that we can get to pull up. That's what I'm talking
Nah,
about.
Trey, it's the same. It's
no,
the
How is
same.
it
get him to
the
pull
same?
up.
But you
If
made
that's
your
the
How is
case,
that
Get
we
him
the
to
can't
same?
pull
talk
up
about
though.
nobody that ain't here.
How is
No,
it the
but
same? No.
you stated your
I
position. I
only
think that's
said
fair.
if you
What
can
he
get
really
that
mean to
person to
say is,
pull up,
hey,
then have that
him
conversation
come to
again.
his channel, so he don't want to engage in that conversation because you don't want no
And
Well,
smoke.
guess
again, that's
what?
his
Guess
That's
what?
position, and
cool.
Nigga,
that's
hold on.
fair.
I can be
I
the
just
media man. Hold on. Anybody, listen, I can get it. I can
My
make it
bad,
happen on my
Taz.
channel. So let's just put it out there. So
Yeah, but I'm not finna diss him. It's not even like that. I was gonna tie it back to even myself.
talk
So
to me.
again, I don't like people said I preyed on hurt women or you know what I'm saying, single moms and this and that. So I would argue that there was a weak group of men that flocked to his channel at one point. I don't think he even do that type of content no more. Whether people realize it or not, the dude don't even do
Correct.
the shit he used to do. I got a whole bunch of motherfucking proof of that. He's nothing
Correct.
like he used to be in that regard. So I wouldn't consider his content today predatory, but some of his early content when I first got to YouTube, the same way they said I was preying on the women that they were going at, well, yeah, you preying on these goofy ass niggas that I'm going at. See what I'm saying? So that's
Well, see,
in that regard,
I
yeah.
just got on YouTube. I just got on YouTube in December, Taz. So
No, but you good, Trey. I mean, the thing of it is, Auntie
Yeah,
up
we
here.
good, man. That's it's old shit. That's old. You know what I'm saying? It's an old.
Yeah.
I wouldn't diss him and he ain't here, and you know what I'm saying? Ain't no need to do that.
I ain't gonna lie. Like me and that nigga rock for real. Like I talk to him.
No. But
Like
this is what I'm saying,
I'm
Trey.
keeping it gangster.
And even I have to bow down sometimes. I came into space in 2020, but you get somebody up here like a Taz and a Auntie, they got more visibility and insight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even for me, I got to step aside to to like acknowledge what they saying. But your point in terms of your position is 1000% truly heard. You understand what I'm saying? There's no indictment on you. So,
But but check this out, though. This is what I'm saying. I feel like it's imperative to say he moved away from it, and that somewhat points to not being as
agreed.
much of a predator. Because, yeah, but like some of the shit this nigga you say is wild. I'm
No,
saying
but when he's over there
because,
on Trey channel, it's a different conversation.
because that I'm saying that group of men still exists though, where he could tap into that, and he just ain't. There's that content that he used to do for angry me and used to, you know what I'm saying, it used to be different, bro. And it's still being done. He just don't do it.
So hold on, before I bring somebody up, all I'm saying is that if Dr. Cheyenne Bryan is a predator for what she's doing, and she also pivoted from being doctor to now a gospel, he went from the low the low life, degenerate Rimbo men to now Republican. So it ain't no difference. It's the same. It's the same thing. He just moved a conversation to a different scenario. Now he's just a black conservative, worried about the black community and talking down on black.
Sharon, I would disagree. He's not up here saying he's a doctor.
Hold on, and he's saying black culture is trash and black people need to hold black people accountable. All that BS. It's the same thing.
Have you heard him? Have you heard him on my channel?
Those are opinions, though, bro.
Bro, it's one thing to give an opinion, and it's another thing to say I'm a doctor and start giving out medical diagnosis to people when I'm really not qualified to do it. I believe that anybody that's going to tell people what they want, like what they want to hear, as opposed to what it is they need to know, especially when you got the intellectual and mental capacity to do it, you just choose to tell people what they want to hear just so you can put a couple coins in your pocket. Yeah, I think that's extremely predatory, and I don't care who does it.
I just want some clarity. All right.
No, especially when you attack a specific.
Good day. Welcome to the show. Brownsville, New York. Good day, sir. How you doing?
Brownsville.
What up, Brownsville? Give me 1 second. I just want to land real quick. I'm just saying, especially when you attack a specific demographic, you know what I'm saying? Like you find a specific demographic to attack. I mean, just like what Diva was saying earlier, these are actually the like the characteristics and traits of con artists.
Okay.
Like con artists, grifters. You know what I'm saying? They're going to attack a specific demographic. They're going to hit you with the damn sales pitch, and they're going to put some coins in their pocket and move on to the next grift.
But how? So if you, how? Because see, that's why I'm questioning in terms of doing content. You saying that there's a way to be predatory in content creation?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
bro. Listen, and y'all can still disagree with me. That's my opinion, right? If I take my goddamn phone and I go to a nigga channel, how is he praying on me?
Because
that's what's being said on the channel.
Psychologically setting it up to have.
You gotta, hey, Taz, fam,
listen, what's being said.
You still gotta go to his channel, fam.
Okay, so that's a good question. So hold on. So Mont want to answer that question. Taz want to answer that question. I think Shad want to answer that question.
Come on, Mont.
And then we'll check to see if Brownsville.
Mont, if you don't make if you don't make sense, nigga,
listen,
I need you to say
you gonna tell me I'm not making sense, but
what you don't, bro, you never make sense.
But look, check this out, right? Most people who are con artists, people come to them willingly, right? You can't make anybody really do anything without putting a gun to their head. You think there's people in these mega churches who happen to be con artists, you know, you think they like, yo, y'all gotta come to my no, they like, yo, I'm preaching.
So you blaming the pastor, Mont?
I'm saying that some of them
are you blaming the pastor?
Then you want to cut me off. All right, cool.
Ask the question.
That's the best method, is to cut me off, because that's the only way to get, to stop this from happening. Go ahead.
No, I just asked, are you blaming the pastor?
I'm just giving you an example of how they're not putting a gun to somebody's head. However, they're still coming in willingly to be used in that way. That's how these things happen. Pastors, let's say hypothetically, let's say Dr. Umar is a complete fraud. I don't know people's position on that. Some people got the position, some people don't. Right? He didn't put a gun in nobody's head to give him money for that school. What's the other guy name who Morrison, the black guy Morrison. He ain't put a gun in nobody's head to give him money.
Talking about Jay Morrison, man.
Jay Morrison. Yeah. He ain't put a gun in nobody's head to give him money.
Yeah,
the Tulsa Fund. He didn't put a gun in nobody's head to get people to give him their last.
And neither did Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, so you don't gotta make somebody do something for you to be a scam artist or one of these types of people.
Go ahead, Taz. I know, Taz, guy, you can answer the question as well, if you remember the question. All right, while we wait on Taz,
I forget what Trey even said. I forget what I was responding to. I was responding to something from Trey. What was it, Trey?
I just don't believe. Taz, I don't believe.
It's about content creators being predatory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So so
be predatory if the consumer is coming to the content creator.
I got you. Okay, so in the context that trade that you put it in, you said scrolling through and just looking, you can click off. I agree. But the issue, I think, is when your content is directed at younger men, and then when you get those men to come to your channel, everything that's there is it's to push your own personal agenda, and it's not a good agenda. So I could click off, but I know who your target audience is and what you're feeding that target audience.
Hey Taz, let me ask you a question. All right, I'm 45. We about the same age somewhere in the ballpark?
49.
All right, we about the same. You would have been a senior when I was a freshman. Cool. All right, so when we were younger, did older niggas kind of used to tell us things and try to sway us in a direction based on their life experiences and give us game on certain things?
My bad. Say it one more time. I was looking at a message. My bad.
Say it one more time.
My bad, bro. My bad. I'm saying my fault. Say it one more time.
I'm messing with you, bro. I'm messing with you. No, so what I'm saying, when we were young in the streets doing our thing, right? Weren't there older men that used to tell us how to do what we were doing?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And then a lot of times we sat there and listened, just being respectful, but we still went and did our own thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, one ear after the other, no doubt.
Exactly. So my question is, why would, and these are niggas we knew, fam. These are some of the OGs on the block. So why in the world would we not listen to them and still make our own decision? We got some niggas on the internet that ain't had no motion until they got a little money and got a little fame on YouTube. Niggas ain't had no motion, fresh and fit. Nigga, wasn't nobody looking at them niggas, bro. Let's keep it gangster. But I'm gonna listen to these goofy looking niggas.
The issue is though, they start selling products and you see people following them. You see people buying their merchandise. You see people supporting their message. And when their message is counterproductive to the point where you see it and you see people following it, financially supporting it, now those financial supporters of theirs are invested in them. So while we discount them as just simply being content creators, now they got a legion of followers that's, willing to go out and do the silly shit they talk about, mocking black people and all this monkey stuff and all that silly stuff they do. It's not good for anyone to follow, but they're giving that to younger men who are invested in a platform who may not have came for that reason. Some of them just want to watch women and then they get deeply invested into all this. Like, you've heard the term radicalized. It's real. People get wrapped up in this shit, man.
But Taz, it's I understand what you're saying, and this is where I find predatory. Is kind of like Dr. Umar when you say, "Hey, we're going to take up finances to build a school for the community," and it never manifests, it never materializes. Now that's predatory, right? But me just saying, "Hey, treat women like this." Do this, do that. In my opinion, that's not predatory. That means
it's the exact same thing.
It's some lame, goofy niggas.
No, Trey, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Because
I would put Umar charges people to keep saying that stuff.
I would put Umar, but Ant, I would put Umar over there with Malachi York, right? And so if you say, and so listen, if you say it's like, hey Taz, but listen,
you took it up a whole nother level, really.
No, but here's the thing: if you saying that Walter and I can't even pronounce the Sudanese name, right? Because I'm okay with calling people by their government, okay? So if you say them dudes are attracting the lames, right? The same case can be made. Well, they're attracting people who have autonomy, right, over their decision making, right? So I would say the same thing with a lot of these cats that flock to Manosphere. The difference is, again, when I asked about demographic, I have to give credence to these young boys that are leaning in and regurgitating. Go to some of these streaming platforms where they gaming and all this other stuff and listen to these Aiden Rosses and the Neons and the Academics and all these cats that regurgitating some of these points. Agreed.
Look, there are levels, real quick. There are levels to the whole, like preying on folks and stuff like that. So when you're talking about just spitting out content and all of that and attacking a specific demographic. I equate it to, it's just like the dope dealer that just gives people samples of what it is they like so they can keep on coming back. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
if you
it.
don't like
It's
it,
just as predatory.
How did we just
you're not
agree
going to
that there's
consume it.
levels of predatory behavior?
Shadow,
And we
if you
couldn't say
don't
the
like
same
it,
thing
you're
about
not going to
divided system.
consume it.
That's wild.
Hey, wait, we got to respect the money real quick.
I didn't disagree with you, Josh.
Let me just read some of the money. Let me also check on a couple of things.
I'd like to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
You there, Diva?
I'm here.
All right.
All right. Vegetarian terrarium, $5. People with our level of morality are actually a minority. Most people are evil. It would just depress us to admit it.
Damn.
Aron to Lucas, $2. She's just like Mike Ross from Suits.
That's actually hilarious. If anybody wants Suits, that is a hilarious comparison. That is funny as hell. Great TV show.
I can't watch shows with all white people. Aron to Lucas, $5. Misrepresenting as a psychologist from a university and had sessions or betrayed public trust in certain states, that's civil liability and or criminal.
Well, lock up then.
Hulu live streaming, $3.69, $10. So when the predator, AM, is your friend, he don't want to speak or say anything. Crazy the fakeness is real, dang. If you can't hold all preds accountable, shouldn't be speaking on these topics.
Kulu got to pull up. He talking about Trey.
And I would say this right here, right? You got just like what Josh was saying earlier.
You niggas believe that? You niggas is goofy, nigga.
Bro, I didn't disagree with Josh when he said there's levels to it. Like, look, you got people like a Bernie Madoff or even maybe an Umar Johnson that might be or Jay Morrison that runs a Ponzi scheme. You got people that commit different levels of fraud. You know what I'm saying? You have, like the PDFs, you know what I'm saying, that commit that. But also, you also got cult leaders too. Now, would you consider cult leader behavior predatory behavior? I think most of us would. We would. And that's what I would equate your Fresh and Fit and a lot of these people online, I would equate them to like cult leaders because they pretty much run their platforms like cult leaders do.
Let me check to see. Hold on. Let me check to see if Brownsville microphone is working yet. Brownsville, you good? Your microphone working?
Peace and love. Can you hear me, Cuzzo?
I think so. Now I can. I think you're coming through now. Say something again.
Go out, come back up.
I can hear you, Ron.
Okay. They said they
That's where we can't hear
on my side.
Nah, he might not be able to hear us, so he might need to go out and come back in. I don't know what's going on with Trey.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear him loud and clear. I can.
Yeah, I can hear him pretty good. Yeah, as long as ain't nobody talking over him, I can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear him too.
All right, so they said they can hear you, cuz. So go ahead. So they said they can hear you. Go ahead. I can't.
First of all, peace and love to the queen on the panel, the Supreme Goddess PH Diva, and then peace and love to all the kings and queens on the panel, and as well as the chat, man. And I gotta disagree with the brother Mont. He called the queen, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, a predator. Nah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't jacking that.
Damn, that wasn't.
I ain't jacking that, my brother.
I just was.
Listen, if Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, if she did anything wrong, right? Maybe it's overselling her credentials, right? I believe that she's already been verified as having transcripts of a master's degree already, right? And the only question that was out there was whether she had
she said she can't even get it. Degree. Just so you know.
Right? What'd you say? Can you hear me?
She said she can't even get her transcripts because the school is like gone. It doesn't exist no more.
Yeah, the brothers should stay far away from that and let the sisters check her.
That was referring to her.
I agree with that.
Degree,
no, but also, like, what do you mean you believe she's verified her master's? I don't think any of us are privy to that.
Yeah,
someone has already verified that she has a master's degree.
She hasn't verified any of them.
But I could be wrong. If that's incorrect, right, then that's incorrect. Well, here's the point, right? My point is, if she's guilty of anything, is possibly overselling her credentials, right? I don't consider her a predator.
The
Matter
lack
of fact,
thereof.
I think she's closer to Dr. Septi than anyone else, right? The reason why I say she's closer to Dr. Septi is because Dr. Septi, he didn't have a medical degree from a distinguished, accredited medical program, right? But he understood medicine more than a lot of medical professionals who did have that degree, right? And I think the beauty of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is that she understands the mentality, the mindset, and the flawed ideology of men more than a lot of mental health professionals,
How do you know
right?
he didn't have a degree?
Bro, I would equate the woman to damn Dr. J, Julius Irving, or damn Dr. Dre, the producer.
Yeah, but how do
Any
we
other legitimate doctor.
how do we know Dr. Sebi didn't have a degree? How do we know that?
Can I finish
No,
my
no, no, no. Don't. Yeah,
can I
don't.
finish? Can I land
I'm
my
sorry.
plane?
I apologize.
Dr. Septi, right? Did he have a medical degree from any accredited university that you know of?
No,
No.
Dr. Sebi, no.
Right. So that is why I'm comparing her to Dr. Septi, because through all accounts, right, people who have taken advice from him and put into practice the things that he prescribed, right, they receive results, right? And they pretty much said, hey, Dr. Septi is the real deal, right? And I believe the same can be said for Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, right? The same way Dr. Septi knew medicine better than a lot of medical providers is the same way Dr. Cheyenne Bryant understands the misogynistic nature of men better than most mental health providers, right? And I believe a lot of men are upset with that is because she has the keen ability to be able to see these men coming and expose them in a way that would potentially make them less credible, right? And we can go and see the men who she demasked, right? She got on a platform with Cam Newton, right? We all know that he believes in creating broken homes everywhere and having multiple kids and multiple baby mamas, and he thinks that's right and he thinks that's okay. He thinks he's a great father by doing so, right? She also had to sit down with Nick Cannon, who has that same misogynistic ideology, right? She also had to sit down with Shannon Sharp, same thing, and she's able to expose these men as degenerates, right? So I think there's a place for her to go on these platforms and continue to do her thing because she has that ability to do so. And I believe that maybe a lot of mental health professionals who are men, right, are jealous of her, and now they're coming after her by way of, well, let me see your credentials. Let me see your transcripts. Let me see what gives you the ability or the qualifications to speak the way you speak and articulate yourself the way you articulate yourself. Maybe, just maybe, God equipped her to do that. Maybe the Spirit equipped her to do that. Maybe,
Come on, bro.
maybe,
Yeah, I gotta
maybe,
jump in on
maybe
this one, bro.
she has an ability that supersedes the ability of those men that they picked up from other white men. Peace and love to y'all.
Got you. So
right.
Brownsville, the interesting part about what you just said, right? You spoke on all the men that's coming after her who are professionals and who have PhDs and all that. But oddly, from what I've been seeing, it's mainly women who are credentialed who are coming after her. So it's very interesting that you named the men. But the difference between her and Dr. Sebi, and I asked you, like, how did we know Dr. Sebi didn't have his PhD? Well, we know that because he told us, right? He told us that he just learned in Honduras. He learned under somebody else, and he just and he learned from like some sort of ancient knowledge that was out there, and somebody told him, right? And a lot of us sought him out for that, right? Versus Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who was like, yo, I'm speaking as if I'm an authority on these things, and I am an authority because I have degrees and I have my PhD, right? Those are different things. When you give somebody the ability to make a decision for themselves, That's completely different of robbing them of that ability by saying that I'm credentialed, I'm qualified, these other people, these other doctors are my peers, right? That's misleading, and that's why I think that's predatory. So when you bring up the Dr. Sebi example, I think they're completely different.
They're the same.
I'm
Is
sorry?
where they are the same, my brother. And I understand what you're saying. You're saying, well, maybe Dr. Septi, he didn't oversell his credentials, right? But what he was doing was probably violating medical ethics, right? I think that's what a lot of medical professionals accuse him of, because he didn't have a license to prescribe the holistic medicine that he was prescribing, right? And they were saying it was dangerous. They were saying that there was no peer review in order to dissect the information that and the prescriptions that he was given, and therefore they were calling him dangerous, right? So what I'm saying is the same ridicule and criticism that he was getting from people who was hating on his ability to heal people in a natural way, in a God-gifted way, in a way that was separate from the principalities of this world, is the same way that people are criticizing Dr. Cheyenne Bryant for being able to pretty much expose these no good suckers for the degenerate, misogynistic creeps that they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also her ability to pretty much allow women to see warning signs and different signals in order to point them in a direction to recognize when they're with a degenerate, when they're with a wolf in sheep's clothing, so that they can turn and run the other way. So instead of trying to verify Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's credentials, what we should be doing is lifting her up for her ability to expose degenerates.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? So Brownsville, if it's the case that God or the spirit might have equipped her to do all these things, then why would she need to lie about having a degree? It wasn't necessary. You don't need a degree to be a life coach.
That's true, and maybe that was a requirement for her to do so in order to reach that plateau and get on that stage, so that God can use her in the way that He used her. Right?
Okay, so God will use you through sin. God will want you to sin so He could use you.
Well, deception is the word you're looking for, Diva.
Sharon, when they're done, can you
looking
put
for
me in the
sin.
box for
Hey,
Brownsville real
hold on.
quick?
Who told me what word I was looking for?
She asked the question.
I said
right?
that, Diva.
Oh, okay. All right, Rella.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, my bad.
God would not use deception to elevate us. At no point in time would He use deception to elevate. But go ahead. My bad, Diva.
Go ahead, cuz.
I just want to say right quick again, I'm not even familiar with her no more than 2 weeks. Fam, I'm not seeing this call out on men and this and that you talking about, Brownsville. She kind of reckless, bruh. Like that woman ain't just calling out no degenerate men or no shit like that, bro. That woman
Brownsville just dropped for a second. No, he just dropped. But here's what I wanted to say real quick. I don't think Brownsville really knows most of this story right here, and I think he should do a little bit more homework and research, because I get it. He want to talk about how she's calling out men and quote unquote no good suckers, but just like Mont was saying, the most outrage from this stuff coming out was from actual black women that have worked their asses off to get real PhDs and practice psychology and medicine under the credentials that this woman claims that she has, but can't verify any damn thing.
Yeah, and we should let those women handle that business.
So let me say this.
Real quick, Brownsville, I'm gonna land. I want you to respond too. I'm just saying. So if you're gonna be an advocate for women, which, hey, I get it, I feel you, because, hey, in this case, I would be an advocate for them too. But the ones that actually have those credentials, I think it's extremely disrespectful to them that have worked their asses off to get those. I got an aunt that went through it, the dissertation, graduated 4.3, all of that, had a bunch of student loan debt, everything else. Okay, everything else. And for somebody to just come on the internet and just say that, I think it's extremely disrespectful to black women that have put in that work. Forget what she's saying about men. I care less.
Right. And to that, I would say this, right? Those black women who have those grievances, then that's for them to articulate those grievances and for her to respond to them, right? But you shouldn't be responding for them, right? That's number one. Number two, to Chicago Rilla's point, right? God doesn't use deception. That's correct, right? Let me ask you a question, Chicago Rilla. Did God use sinners?
He used people who sin, yes.
Right. So that was my point, right? Um, when you look into the word, right? All the people that God used, were they perfect or were they imperfect? Chicago Riddle,
They
that's
were
a question for
imperfect.
you, my brother.
Nobody's perfect.
But
Right. So
just
so
like
here,
what
here's the
Brownsville just
point.
said, he's saying that it's up to them
Hold on,
to hold her
Let him
accountable.
say
I
it.
can
let him
Can't
get
show
to
you
the
see
point.
him.
multiple
Let him get
videos
to
of women that have been able to show their diplomas,
Oh, okay.
show their
Sharon,
degrees.
the
All right,
bounties
pull up.
You
on?
hear me? Hold on, Aunt. Let them get to the point.
No,
Let
my
them get to
bad,
the
my
point.
bad.
Are the bounties on,
Okay.
Sharon?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I know it's been a
Getting
while.
paid today, dog.
I know it's been a while. I know y'all miss hearing from me, and I get it. But the point is this, right? If the Supreme Goddess PhD diva, who actually has a PhD, if she has a grievance with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, then that's for her to articulate that grievance, right? That isn't for men who aren't even as credentialed as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant to then criticize her for distinguished women that they aren't even in rooms with. That's my point. That's not their place, right?
Brownsville,
And
we are just as credentialed as Cy and
what I'm
Bryant.
saying is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, right? She didn't give out any prescriptions. She didn't give out any advice to nobody has come forward and said, hey, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant told me this, and this is how I was harmed from what she told me. I haven't seen anybody say that, right? So therefore, all she did was demask degenerate men who were predators, who are predators towards women. That's a fact. Cam Newton is a predator towards women. Nick Cannon is a predator towards women. Shannon Sharp is a predator towards women, right? So there we have this woman, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She's very articulate. She knows how to disarm these men. She knows how to expose these men. And then now, yeah, sometimes you got to go through trial by fire, right? And maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe it's a possibility that she got her PhD and that program no longer exists and she can't verify her dissertation or transcripts or whatever. Maybe that's true, or maybe
That's
it's
no, it's
false.
not. Maybe it's true. There's no way that that's true. Right. And this is the thing. So remember, and let me bring it back to the first point I made when I came here. And I'm not talking about you necessarily, Brownsville. But so it's interesting to me that we're having this conversation. And the one person who got the PhD ain't the person who really talking, right? And so low information, high opinion. But back to Brownsville. Brownsville, no, there's no way she did, because when you do a dissertation and you submit it to your school, it automatically goes into an online database. So any body can go and access at least the abstract of your dissertation if you actually wrote one. And you're never going to forget what you wrote it on just because you spend so much time writing it. You ain't going to never forget what you wrote it on. And again, if she was being used by God, her attitude wouldn't be, oh, well, I'm not going to address it. I'm not even going to address it. Right? That's not of God. And this is the thing. That book tell you what you're supposed to be looking for, right? And especially when it talks about the Holy Spirit is God's face in the world and in people, right? And so for us, but it just seems like a lot of times Christians don't lack discernment. Y'all can't see, even if it's right there in front of you. And so no, she is lying. She is lying. And honestly, I think she could have came and did everything she's doing. You know, she's very attractive. She is very articulate. She could have did everything she was doing without the lie. It was no need for it. But that's
And
why I think she's a con artist. Go ahead.
And you could be correct on that as well, right? But all I'm
No, she is correct.
by the fruit that they. So I'm looking at
Let's
the
keep it
fruit
real. The lie is what
and
put her
looking
to
at
the
the
top of the list.
conversations that she had with these degenerate men and the way she was able to disarm them and expose them to the world for having that nefarious ideology, right? So even if she oversold her credentials or she embellished or whatever she did to get to that stage, right? What were the fruit of her getting to that stage? That's what I'm willing to critique her on, right? And I believe that when I seen her on those platforms, I seen a very articulate Black woman who was doing good work for the community, because we need more sisters like her. We need more sisters like you, Supreme Goddess PH Diva. We need more sisters like Verbal Assassin, Rogue C, all of the sisters that are willing to come on these public platforms and challenge the nefarious ideologies of these sick men, right? Who are still trying to convince the world that for some strange reason, they can't tell the difference between a 16-year-old and a 25-year-old woman, right? That's what they want us to believe. That's what they want women to believe. And there's a lot of men who are going along to get along, right? Because as a man, you walk in a club and there's a 16-year-old girl there. There's no men on this earth that can convince me that he can't tell that that's a 16-year-old girl if he's observing her, right? Because maybe you're looking in the wrong places. For one, you should be looking at her face. You should be looking at the way she talks. You should be looking at the way she walks, right? And you would know right off the bat that that's a girl, that's not a woman. But because you're prioritizing lust and degeneracy at the top of your value system, right? And you are in active practice of degeneracy, and you're probably in an inebriated state, you're willing to dismiss all of the signs that identifies her as a girl, right? And there's not a lot of men who are willing to come on a public platform and state that, right? So we need more women like Cheyenne Bryant, like the Supreme Goddess. Supreme Goddess, don't you get this same thing where these men are trying to expose you, criticize you? They want to know what you look like. They want to see your credentials. They have all these, they levy all these criticisms of you. You don't carry yourself like a PhD scholar and all of those different kind of things, right? But I don't look at it like that. I look at the fruit. I look at the work that you're doing. I listen to you intently, right? And I understand what your goal is. And that's all I'm doing. I'm giving Dr. Cheyenne Bryant that same grace.
PhD ain't lying to get there.
I'm seeing the good that she's doing, and I want her to continue doing that, because the degeneracy of these predatory men have to stop. And I know you're going to say, well, there's predatory women as well.
Brownsville,
Well, you
just
consistently said there is no
go ahead
justification.
and look up the Maryland study when it comes to sexual abuse from December 2025. And they'll tell you the difference between women being essayed and men being essayed, a woman being groomed and men being groomed, and different things like that. The numbers don't even compare. The numbers don't even correlate, right? So I don't want to hear nothing about these men being victims until we address that Black women are overly victimized in our communities. In Chicago, New York City, LA, Charlotte, you name a city, it's happening. And my daughter next month turns 16 years old.
Oh.
And there's no man on earth that can convince me that that's not a child when they look at her. Peace and love. Y'all got it.
Brownsville, you so biased that you didn't even
You did a
listen
whole
to
good
Diva.
pivot right there.
He didn't even listen to Diva when she educated him, and she has a PhD, and he just still like, well, maybe it might be like she just told you
Nah,
the thing.
he's like maggots when they defend
hold
Trump.
on, y'all.
It's
Hold
okay
on.
no
I
matter
know
what
y'all
he
see.
does.
I'm
He's
trying
here
to
to
get
get his hand.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let the person with the PhD respond, and also, can you read the super chats as well?
Sure. Aronto Lucas, $5. Many actual licensed psychologists, black women, have reviewed her interviews and talks. Every single one of them have said she's dangerous.
Damn.
A random independent, $5. Dr. Bryant's mistake is she lied on something that can be proven false. She should have been like Sebi and lied using abstract mystical BS. You know what? The official YT Purge, $2. Get that money, Sharon.
All right. So, David, you want to address anything that Brownsville said before we pass it to the fellas?
Look, I understand where Brownsville is coming from. And I totally agree, right? Your 16-year-old daughter, no, you can't convince me either that any man could look at her and think she's an adult. And even if he can look at her and think she's an adult, when he speaks to her, he should automatically know she's not. So, like, they never getting off the hook with that one with me. But with Cheyenne Bryant, with all the stuff that's going on now, it's like she shot herself in the foot, right? Because again, she could have did everything she's doing now. She's attractive, articulate, well put together, all the things that translate well for doing what she's doing, right? Being in the public eye, giving advice. If you got a microphone these days, you can give advice. So I just think it was unnecessary, and especially with her attitude towards it now, and then the subsequent pivot to the Bible quoting and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, she was lying, she got caught, and she needs to be more contrite about it to try to move on from it, so she can keep doing what she want to do.
But
Okay.
what about, but Queen, I want you to address though how you are overly criticized in comparison to her, right? Because I've been listening to you and seeing what's been going on for a few years, right? And these men are criticizing you based upon, well, why don't she never turn the camera on, right? And then they'll say, well, how do we know she really has a PhD, right? Then they'll say things like, well, she doesn't talk or speak like or act like somebody that has a PhD, right? So my issue is when it comes to Cheyenne Bryant, right? It doesn't even matter if she has a degree, right? They want her to be perfect, and they expect black women to be perfect in all areas, right? Because if it wasn't that, even if they found the doctorate degree, they would find another reason to criticize her and ridicule her and try to run her out of the room. And that's what I want you to address, Queen.
Yeah, so I agree with everything you said, right? So yes, they do criticize me, even though I ain't studying they dusty asses. And how you gonna criticize me and you looking up at the soles of my shoes?
Goddamn.
Nevertheless, right? Nevertheless, uh, so yes, they do, and they've questioned the degree or whatever. Um, and so that's just what black men do. But
Oh shit.
again, I just don't think she had to lie. I think she could have done it all, by being honest and saying, I'm a life coach and I got all this experience, and I look this good and I'm putting it out there, and come on, what's up?
Mm.
So, but I agree with
You got
everything you're saying.
you
But
got
it's
this one,
also
Diva?
fair. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I got it. I'm sorry. Aron to Lucas, $5. If it's so easy to tell, how do all these 16-year-olds sneak into the club? Easy. They know somebody at the door, or the person they coming in with know somebody at the door. That's how we used to do it.
Okay, shit.
How did they convince the public that Aaliyah was a sex symbol at 15? I was around when that happened. I don't sex symbol? She wore baggy clothes, oversized clothes. And that came later, the sex symbol stuff. Anyways, the official YT Purge, $5. Miss J N's best friend has 4 paws and coughs up fur balls. What?
I know Mont wanted to say something, and then Auntie wanted to get in the box with Brownsville. So we got Mont and Shadow, because I know Mont, Shadow, and AR, because they wanted to address Brownsville as well, and then Auntie get his moment in the box.
Yeah, I think it's fair for, like, if anybody is questioning Diva's credentials, I think that's fair for them to do that. She says she has a PhD. People are going to question that. Now, she's not a public figure. She don't got to show y'all shit, right? Like, so it's different with her. Like, she might be like, yo, I'm going to just keep my identity what it is, because this is what, it doesn't make sense for her to show us anything. However, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, Dr. Phil, these other types of people who are on TV and they're public figures and they're trying to do bigger things, as far as in that space, yeah, it's completely, reasonable for people to question that. And now her peers are questioning, well, quote unquote peers are questioning that. So at a certain point, it's like, yo, they want to know now. They want to see the paperwork. So I think that's completely different. And I think Brownsville, I like your message. I like what you want to do. And I think your heart is in the right place. But I do think you start to lose credibility when you refuse to acknowledge certain facts and certain truth to get your point across. But I totally understand what your fight is, and it makes sense. But you at least got to acknowledge like facts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I did acknowledge the facts. I said maybe she oversold her credentials. Maybe she embellished a little bit.
Maybe.
Right?
Okay.
It hasn't been proven yet, right? I know PH Diva made a good point of how it can be proven, right? And a lot of people believe that she's a charlatan, she's a liar, and all these different things. But the reality is, right? I think the issue is not about her credentials, which is my point. The issue is because she did such a good job of demasking these degenerate men and exposing these men, right, as being a articulate Black woman who, is a beautiful woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carrying herself in a certain way, they feel like she should humble herself, and she shouldn't speak so vehemently, and come after these men so aggressively the way she did. Who is she? Who gave her these credentials? Who gave her this mindset to do this? Right? So I think it's more about her ability to, speak truth to power than it is verifying her credentials.
Or maybe it's because what she says she's a doctor, and that's also not what doctors do, right? Like every therapist that I've saw talk about what she's done has said that's not how you do therapy. That's not how you don't cast your world view on the people who you're talking to get them to a better place. That's just not the way that those people in that space operate. And also, like, I get that she's calling Cam Newton and them a degenerate for the way that they live life, but Paul Pierce also exposed that she might be a degenerate also, right? For the way that she chooses to live life. If we talking all the God stuff and all this type of stuff, but you fucking on niggas on and off and all that, like everybody got things that they could do better in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That's correct. But my issue is there's so many men with a lot of power and manipulative ability to create a narrative and control it, right? Which is what gave the Rim brothers so much influence, to speak on this, speak on pretty much humbling women, specifically Black women, putting them down, objectifying them, right? And they're not afraid to have these weird conversations when it comes to young Black children, right? And then my issue with a lot of Black men is this, right? So we will hear these brothers engage in these weird, nefarious conversations about children. You have a conversation about it, talk about it, but then you're in a room with them, chumming it up in another different conversation. That's not how we used to do things, right? We distance ourselves from people like that.
Okay. All right. That was a good
you once, Brownsville, you once told me that the end doesn't justify the means. You told me that on a number of occasions, and I respected that. The problem I'm having with you at this exact moment is that, as Mont said, she clearly disrespected other Black female PhDs, and you're saying it sounds, just outside looking in, it sounds like you're saying it's okay that she did that because her message was to attack degenerates. But at the end of the day, like Sharon always said, it's okay to call a thing a thing. Diva was right. She didn't have to commit the fraud to be able to get the success that she did, but she did it with the intent of getting that gain. Just like this predatory lending companies. Yes, she moved in a predatory way in order to gain the following and the fans that she didn't, again, she didn't even have to do it. So it was disrespectful to other people. But it seems like because she was okay with attacking the men, you're willing to let that slide, even though she did it in a way that disrespected women in the process. Like, I guess that's where I'm sitting weird with it.
Well, as
No,
a
so I'm
woman
not.
with a PhD, I don't feel disrespected.
There you
She
go.
has nothing to
Right.
do with me.
There you go.
Okay.
Disrespects the
And
field, though. It's stolen valor.
stolen
Disrespect the
So,
valor.
field.
no, Diva.
Hold
So
on.
one of the things,
Hold on. Let Browns get a chance to respond to Shaw. So this way we can keep moving the conversation forward to where Auntie and Browns can have they back and forth. So we can just keep the conversation going. So, because we ain't gonna never get there. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brownsville.
Yeah, so I'm not justifying her making misleading statements about her credentials. If that's what she did, right? If she did that, she was wrong, right? And she deserves criticism for that, right? Um, that's embellishment, that's overselling your credentials. That's as far as I would go with that. But in terms of being a predator, no, I can't go that far with calling her a predator because she didn't represent anybody but herself, right? She wasn't up there representing a company. She wasn't up there representing an institution. She wasn't up there you know, uh you know like she was invited to these rooms to have these conversations and she showed an innate ability to demask these men. That's what she did, right? So we
but the
have to
question is,
be
why
able
was
to.
she even invited to these rooms? I'm sorry. There was background noise. Sorry, continue.
Because she lied about her doctorate. That's why she was invited.
All
Well,
right.
I
So
mean, but that
while
can't be
Shadow
true.
get his background noise together, I
Yeah.
guess Auntie could get his moment with
No,
Brownsville.
no, and that was just gonna be my point, bro. That I mean, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? PhD has a PhD. She doesn't feel disrespected. And I'm sure there are a lot of women that have PhDs and don't feel disrespected because it doesn't really hurt their money or what it is that they do or doesn't harm their credentials. But there are a lot of women that do feel disrespected because of that have actually gone through that. So when you say that she's not representing anybody but herself, I think she is representing more than just herself. She's representing the moniker of the independent, educated, opinionated Black woman. And then she's been exposed as a liar. So that hurts what she represents. Would you agree or disagree with that, Brownsville?
I would disagree with it, right? Because at the end of the day, there's not one person on this panel that can say as an adult they never lied, right? We've all have, committed either white lies or some dark lies, right? But at the end of the day, we ask for forgiveness, we pray about it, and we repent, and we move forward, right? Because that's what adults do. When she was in these conversations, right, it was her ability to attack the degenerate ideology of these men, right? And that's what has had so many Rim brothers up in arms with her having that ability. Now, if there's Black women who have PhDs who feel a type of way, then they're justified in feeling that way, right? But the problem is, I'm not talking to a Black woman right now. I'm talking to a Black man, right? Now, if you're a Black man who has a PhD yourself, then I can understand you feeling a type of way as well. But if you're not a Black man who has a PhD, and you're not a Black woman who has a PhD, and we have a Black woman on this panel who does have a PhD and says she's not offended, then why do you feel it necessary to speak for those who may or may not be offended. As a man, let's get to the bottom of that.
Okay, for the
Well,
same
again,
reason
I
why
still
you
think
feel
something
that
pivot.
you feel no, one second, Josh. For the same reason that he feels it, necessary to come up here every single day and speak on behalf of women that can speak for themselves when you're calling out these no good suckers and everything else.
No, see, that's where you got it confused, right? Number one, I'm not up here every day. Matter of fact, this is probably my second time in a month being up here. That's number one. And number two, I don't speak for black women. I speak for on behalf of black men to degenerate black men, right? See, that's what y'all always got confused, right? What I'm telling these men to do is to recalibrate their value system, right? Why are you so interested in putting a black woman down, right? Who raised you? What environment you come from to where they was tearing down black women? The environment that I come from, Auntie, that you're going to be familiar with. I grew up in the times of the nations of gods and earths, right? My OGs would build with us and let us know how precious and valuable a black woman are, what black woman is, and how they should be treated, how they should be uplifted, right? And if there's an issue with a black woman, you go get a higher esteemed black woman, and you get that correction from them. That's what we was taught. So I don't understand this weird obsession that a lot of men have to where they just want to come on platforms and just tear down black women and attempt to ridicule black women in such a loud and boisterous way. That's to me, I don't know, man. That's feminine behavior.
I mean, I'll explain. And now this is the way I do things. I can't speak for everybody else, and I know that there are people that do just target black women or just women in particular to go at them because of their BS. I call it down the middle. Inconsistent. That's the way I see it. If I see a dude that's up here grifting, if it was a dude that was up here calling himself a licensed PhD doctor and he can't show any of his credentials, can't even remember what his dissertation was about or any of that other stuff, I'm going to call him out the same way. So I don't think there should be any gender bias when you're calling out BS. And I don't think that woman deserves any grace because she's a woman, and definitely not just because she's a black woman. She's lied. You know what I'm saying? She's grifted, and her lie is what actually put her to the top of everybody else that just calls themselves a life coach. That's what put her above everybody else. That's what actually that created the difference in the size of her platform and how loud her voice was. That's one of the reasons why her voice got so magnified, and that's why she was able to give all of those independent consultations above most other life coaches.
Yeah,
because she was able to say that, hey, I'm licensed. I'm a step above everybody else that calls himself a life coach, when in actuality she wasn't.
And you may be correct on that, right? But my question to you is this, my brother. Do you believe all these brothers was questioning the forefathers and the pillars of the manosphere and trying to question their credentials and trying to figure out their backgrounds and trying to determine if they had the proper authority to speak and have these different opinions the way that they did?
No, but if
absolutely,
they
were
getting
questioned
dragged for it.
And a lot of them are still being dragged, questioned, and called out about it. But I don't remember any of them calling themselves PhDs and doctors that didn't have the credentials to.
Actually, everybody
I don't
does
know.
get.
I think there's stories out there that will show and debunk what you just said, right? I think what happens with men, right, is when you hear another man who is speaking the way that you like, and you agree with his opinion, right? You're more aligned to become a listener and supporter than a critic, right? So you're not going to waste time in figuring out, well, what's his background? What kind of degrees does he have? You're not going to be interested in verifying those facts because you agree with what he says and you like where he's coming from, and you like his point of view, and maybe who he's targeting for his criticism, right? See,
No,
men are
but
quick
that's you asking me
to give
personally.
other men
Um,
grace. Men are
yeah.
quick to give other men grace, and it might not be you specifically. You might be
Okay, go
special,
ahead.
Auntie. You might be special, my brother. It's not really you that I'm levying this criticism to, because you said, hey, I'm objective. I call it down the middle. I call balls and strikes. And what I'm saying is, if that's true, then you are the exception, my brother, not the rule.
Brownsville, you're gaslighting yourself right now.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, if he's talking about it on a broad context, then I get it. People are gonna have their individual biases, and even I might have mine from time to time. Like I said, I try to call it down the middle. If I didn't say that, I'll reiterate and say that. I try to call it down the middle, but at the same time, I don't see why we should give somebody. Do you believe that liars deserve more grace because they're women or because they're black women?
No, liars deserve what liars deserve, right? But if someone maybe made a misleading statement, or if they oversold their credentials, right? or if they told a lie, right? I'm not just gonna be so up to just totally discrediting them, right?
You would if it was a man.
They're actually doing good work, right? So if they're doing good work,
They're
producing good fruit.
Well, now this was just the point that I was trying to make. If somebody's going to lie, grift, and all of that stuff, they should be subject to the same scrutiny, regardless of what the hell their gender is or their race is or any of that other stuff.
So let me ask you this, my brother. So you're saying,
and you were, but before you go, Brownsville, you were pretty much just saying, well, why are you guys so quick to tear down a black woman? Because she was a liar and a grifter. And we should tear her down just the same way and scrutinize her just the same way we would a black man or a white man or a white woman or an Indian man or an Indian woman or an Asian man or Asian woman that lies right to our damn face.
Right. So my question to you, if we was to apply that same standard to everybody who graced these panels, everybody who's on the internet, would there be any man or woman standing, in your opinion?
Yes. Say that again?
Yes.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
He said we hold that same standard to the content creators in YouTube. Would there be anybody still standing?
It'd be a lot.
Yeah, there would be some people still standing. A lot of these people, and I think it's crazy that a lot of these people have supposedly grown up and evolved, but they still speaking the same stuff they were speaking 12, 13 damn years ago. It's like at some point you would think people will grow up. I know there are a lot of topics and issues that I don't feel the same way that I did 12, 13 years ago because I done grown older, wiser. I see things from different perspectives, all of that stuff. So some people will call that flip-flopping. When I see it, and I see somebody spitting the same stuff for 15 years straight, the same opinion, have gotten no extra context, can't even see things from different perspectives, have multiple discussions with people. I don't see that as a damn badge of honor. I see that as stubbornness.
So my question to you is, name them. Name the people who, if we was to take a magnifying glass on everything that they said, right, in order to verify the veracity of what they're telling is the truth, name those people that will still be able to have credibility and be above reproach when it comes to making misleading statements or maybe overselling something. Name those people so that we can investigate them.
Y'all gonna let Brownsville gaslight us right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into a list of other content.
You can answer the question, Ma.
I'm not even going to do that.
You can answer the question.
Well, no, that's a deflection tactic, and it's all good, bro. You're trying to get me to speak on some other names, and then the conversation's going to sway onto other people and other people's content. You and I were discussing a specific topic, right there. So I'm not gonna fall for that. But it sounds like it's a good idea for maybe another stream or another discussion. Other people might fall for that, but I won't, bro.
But it's not a deflection because I asked you a question before that. The question I asked you, and you could have said, well, yeah, nobody. Right? Now, if you would have said that.
No, the answer isn't nobody. The answer is a lot of people, but I'm not going to mention a bunch of them because it's going to turn the topic and conversation into something other than what it was.
You don't have to mention a bunch of them. Mention one.
I'm not going to do that. Like I said, it's going to change the conversation.
Well, I want to talk about her. I know y'all want to talk about
Anton,
me.
Umar, there's a bunch of people.
I just want to talk about her. So I just want to make sure I understand. We think that she did this by accident, according to Brownsville, that she was misleading, lying, deceiving people, and it was an accident. Is that the census that I'm getting from the people on the panel?
No,
That's
this is
not what I
Brownsville.
said.
No, nobody's saying that.
No, I'm asking. It was a question.
Hold on, y'all. All right, so y'all can think about the answer. Go ahead, PS Diva.
Alrighty. Aron to Lucas, $2. She actually represented Argosy by claiming it.
What's Argosy, PS Diva?
That was the institution, the online institution that she says she got the degree from. They have since closed. But you can still access your transcripts and whatnot. There's a regulatory requirement to maintain documents for a certain amount of time. It's usually at least 7 years. But she was saying because it closed, they only kept the documents for 2 years, and so she can't get her transcript, and that's just not true.
But was that ever verified, Queen? Did anybody from that university
Yes.
ever come out and says, well, she's lying?
No,
Yes.
No, when they came out, go ahead,
oh my
Diva, my bad.
God. So the university is closed. So it doesn't exist anymore. But I did see something where there was a note, like a post from Argosy University saying you can still access your records, and this is how.
And that's via third party, right, Diva?
Yes, it's a third party
Correct.
organization that will maintain all of the information or the data or paperwork, whatever, for a certain number of time.
And it's supposed to be for at least 7 years, and it's only been 2 years, so
It's
still.
usually it's usually 7 years. It's usually the default.
And here's the thing: I got a problem, and I gotta go. So, but this is the issue I have, right? Why do black men have so much more smoke for Cheyenne Bryant than they have for Donald Trump? Because Edelman Williams,
Hey, thank you for
he'll come
naming
on
him,
and
because I was about to say
hold
you
on,
wouldn't have gave the same grace.
Can I finish?
Let him land his point. Go ahead, brother.
Like, I need y'all to have a little bit more emotional control, man. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous that y'all can't act like adults. The thing is this, right? I'm tired of black men like Edelman Williams. He's willing to come up on shows, right, and defend Donald Trump from A to Z. Every time we have a show criticizing him, here come Edelman Williams with a Captain Saver, costume on, right? But when we have a conversation about a black woman who all she did was get on a public platform, probably oversold her credentials, maybe she embellished a little bit, but the overarching point of her message was to dethrone the misogynistic, degenerate ideology of black men, right? He has more smoke for her than he does with somebody who has the nuclear codes. Somebody who lies on a daily basis, but have the power to affect everybody's life. He don't got as much smoke for him than he has for Cheyenne Bryant. Peace and love.
I mean, most black men did.
You know what we saw?
It don't make sense to not. Don't make it about yourself, E. Please don't.
I know. What we saw is that. Hold on, wait, brother. He addressed me. What we saw was a hypocrite in real time. Brownsville said, "Why do we don't go and investigate the things that the manosphere are saying?" And just because this is a woman, he said he's not going to investigate. He's going to give her grace. He's doing the exact thing that he's accusing the men to do it on the opposite side. So what we do know is that it was, he said, embellish a little bit. This woman, her purpose was to deceive people for money. That's what she did. Her goal was to trick people out of money. The crazy part about it is, if Sharon to be honest, he act like now since we're talking about a woman, I'm only holding women accountable. Like I don't hold men accountable, right? So I hear what he's saying. It sounds good. I know he got his little 30-second speech in there, but I tell you straight up is if we gonna hold a standard, the standard that Brownsville say that we hold the line, set the standard, that standard also got to apply to women. And it seems like for some reason his standard only applies to men and not women. And I'm telling you, he's the one that his whole mindset is misleading.
And see, this
Well,
is
you
Exhibit
usually
A.
is co-star.
Hold on one second, Chicago Rilla. This is Exhibit A,
Oh
right?
no, that definitely wasn't me, Brownsville. I don't know
This
who that was.
this brother, right, spoke just now for 1 minute and 36 seconds. Never addressed what I accused him of. Never even mentioned Donald Trump's name, right? But yet he wants to criticize a black woman, right? That's the problem, right? Y'all men are so afraid of the white man that y'all won't even make mention their name in order to say, you know what, maybe I need to take a second look at this. But you're quick to come after a black woman and call her a scammer, call her a degenerate, say that she's doing something nefarious, right? And that's what makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach.
You
Well,
switching the
keep
Y'all
it
need to
conversation,
get
sick.
it together.
Brownsville.
Yeah,
That
I
is
get you what you're saying.
wild.
Hold on 1 second. It's okay. And this is what Brownsville do. What he want to do is he want to change Sharon topic. He want to control. Now he want us to talk about Donald Trump. That's not the topic. What the topic is what this woman is doing in the black community that he loves. So it's crazy that even when we try to talk about black people in the black community, he want to go back and talk about white people. That's it. That's what he want to make the topic about. You can't
Well, no, it was
gaslight me.
about you, not Trump. It was about you. But Brownsville, let me ask:
Wait a
Would you be
minute. Is
able?
it
Would you? Can you
topic
make a
or
comparison
topic?
between her and Umar?
Hmm.
What was
And
the
that was a
question,
fair
my brother?
that was a fair and I just want to say that was a fair assessment, Willie. The topic wasn't actually about Donald Trump, it was about you, either man. That was a good catch,
Willie is
Wall Street
always
Willie.
right, but just relax.
The-
So
hey,
let me ask you this, Brownsville. Can you compare as public figures, right? Umar and Cheyenne, the scrutiny that Umar had to go through, right? Whether he's a doctor or not, at this point, I don't even know. I don't care. But when you're a public figure, that scrutiny is allowed. Because I had an issue with when you said that if you're not a female PhD, you can't criticize her. Well, first off, it's not just about females or even just about black people, right? Like she literally misrepresented academia, right? So this could be about anybody in the space if that's your argument, but I'm saying you give women the space to say you deal with these no good suckers. So you can have an opinion. Well, a lot of people listen to her and under the guise that she was actually a doctor, may have believed some of the things that she said were medically or accepted in academia, and that should just be called out. I just feel like it does the argument a disservice because I agree with you. She did expose and demask men who was out here running amok. I totally agree with you. But if she's doing that under a lie, she does more disservice to the argument than benefit. That's all. I
Willie, you should
apologize.
get
Yeah,
out
but
of that,
hold
man.
on 1 second. Let me respond to Willie real quick, right? Because Willie, the reason why I can't compare Dr. Cheyenne Bryant to Dr. Umar Johnson is because my gripe with Umar Johnson is I donated to him, right? When he said, "Hey, I need donations to build this school," I was one of his supporters and donated money to help him build this school for young black kids, right? Can anybody on the panel say that, you know what, I donated to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant?
She gonna get there.
No, but what I
Wait,
do
Um,
think
but
people could
people
does a
say,
do.
That's
stupid
the
no,
ass
but
question.
what I do think
No,
people could
the
say is
simple
we
answer
took
is
her
no. The simple
advice.
y'all
No,
y'all got to stop
Right. The simple
guys.
answer is
The simple
no.
but
answer is no.
besides
The simple
Brownsville,
answer is no
nobody
when
else
it comes
probably
to
up here say
money.
they
Hold on,
donated
real
to
quick.
Umar.
The
That's
simple
a
answer
false.
is no when it comes to money. But I do think people listen to her under the guise that she had a certain accreditation and she was equipped to be given the advice that she was given. And so now all of the advice she's given will be extra scrutinized, and the people who disagreed with her now have a leg up because she's a fraud. She actually hurt the argument. is my point. Because I agree with you. She exposed some goofies. Cam is a goofy. I agree.
So,
Right?
so let me
But
ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, right? Do you need a doctorate degree to give relationship advice? Yes or no? That's all I need to know.
no.
No, right? So you don't need a doctorate degree to give relationship advice. So your point that she gave advice and people may listen to her, and now that advice is under further scrutiny, is totally invalid. Because if her message or advice that she gave did not harm them in any way, right? Then you can't come and say and discredit her just because she don't have a doctorate degree, or maybe even if she does, right? What I'm saying is most women have said, hey, I appreciate what she did when she was on those panels, how she demasked those men, how she was able to articulate herself in a way to show that they had misogynistic point of views, to show other women the different warning signs on how to navigate a conversation with a man who's speaking eloquently and maybe nefariously trying to get them to be manipulated, right? She had an ability to expose that. So I seen a lot of people, both men and women, give her a lot of credence for that ability, and even you did, right? But now you want to say, well, we gotta hold her to Dr. Umar when Dr. Umar pretty much benefited monetarily from his scam, right? So that's why we have to be careful when we try to make those comparisons and correlations, right? Because,
So you
like I
believe she
said,
did not benefit
Hold
from
on,
it?
E. Hold on, E. Hold on, E. Let
for
me
her,
finish. Let me respond.
right, we can call her out for maybe overselling her credentials, maybe embellishing her academic track record, right? That's fear. But we can't say, oh, well, she's another Dr. Umar Johnson, unless you can show and prove that she got some monetary gain by telling other people, hey, donate to me and I'm going to do this. And she didn't fulfill what, because I didn't care that Dr. Umar, if he was a doctor or if he wasn't a doctor. You know what I cared about, Wall Street? I cared about that school being open, right?
Right.
And I got upset with him when he told me that school was going to be open, and then he gave me an excuse. And then he told me that school was going to be open, and then he gave me another excuse. And then he told me that school was going to be open, and he said, hey, I need you to send me $50 more.
So he
All
lied
right,
to
but
you.
wait, Brownsville though. Don't go past the point of monetary gain, right? It's not only in the form of donations. She absolutely got monetary gain. She's not going on Shannon Sharp for free, right? Cam is giving her a check to come up there and present her rhetoric to the world, right? So whether I agree with what she was exposing or not, she's a fraud, right? Like I can make the argument that everything Dr. Umar says about white supremacy and these things are 100% valid. But if he's a fraud, it hurts the overall Pan-African argument. That's where I'm coming to you from because it does seem disingenuous because I think you would have used this exact same situation to totally criticize a man and say, this is why you should listen to these no good suckers, right? That can be flipped here and say, this is a reason why you shouldn't listen to these no good sisters. And that's coming from a place of agreeing with her.
Hey, Brownsville, quick
Perfect place
question.
to
About to
land,
be
though.
a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Got DV, you there?
Yeah. Let me see. Ogun 314, $5. When you hold men to a higher standard than women, you in fact are being misogynistic. Why can't you hold both genders to a high standard, Brownsville?
Mm.
Aron to Lucas, $5. Quite a few graduates have pulled theirs live in real time. Just a quick Gemini search says Parchment keep records from Argosy permanently.
Mm.
L Nix, something to think about, $20. This is equivalent to any organization that has a mission statement, oath, or contract of higher representation as an ambassador. You can't wear any uniform or present yourself as military, frat sorority, doctor, or licensed professional. That's not entirely true.
Okay.
Aries
can get back
Cuisine
to that.
became a YouTube member. Thank you, ma'am. L Nix, something to think about. $2. This is not a gender debate. It's an ethical debate.
Okay.
Trey the Truth Teller, $5. Wall Street, she didn't expose Cam Newton. Shaking my head. You talking goofy as usual. Laugh out loud. Oh, you know Willie.
Damn, Willie, you're goofy everywhere. Ain't that
I mean, I disagree.
Before you go,
Laced.
Willie, before you jump in, Shadow, Diva, do you want to address the part that is possibly not true with L. Nixon? What he said about
can you bring it back up? Can you bring it back up?
Yes. Which part? Yeah.
Mission statement. Well, so a person, trying to be a public figure, a YouTube public figure or a social media figure, influencer, I guess, isn't equivalent to an organization with a mission statement and all that other stuff, right? It's very different. But then the part about you can't present yourself as fraternity, sorority. Yeah, you can. People do it all the time.
You saying Boosie did that? Wipe me down. Hey, is my brother Brownsville still up here? Because I've been in and out. I just quick question, or maybe for the brothers on the panel, because this whole thing kind of flipped into a conversation around old girl, right? My take on old girl is the ladies are coming out to deal with her. Let them deal. I don't have no opinion when the ladies are dealing with her. Is there any brother on the panel that have a problem with the ladies digging in her tail right now?
No.
I don't subscribe to the same belief that you do when you say only the women can address certain other women. I don't necessarily believe in that.
They say they'll fight a girl. They don't care.
Right. So wait. This is good. So man, in the community that you build, right? The men deal with, how does that work? The men deal with men and women, right? They correct them. I don't know why I'm getting this echo.
I think at a certain level, it's nice to have women deal with women, but I think up top, like for example, right? It's my job to protect my woman and my family from everybody. If I'm ever out in public and a woman is trying to fight my woman, I'm gonna say, hey, you can't put your hands on this woman right here. Under no circumstance, y'all not about to fight. Y'all not about to do that because I'm going to protect her at all costs. So go somewhere else with that.
Shit, I'm like, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
My baby,
yeah, I don't know that we talking the same thing. Like my wife is definitely not ever fighting with anybody in public, right? So I don't know that we're talking the same thing when we talk about women correcting women versus men jumping in to correct women when women are already engaged in the conversation to correct another woman.
Hold on, Rilla. According to your Bible, I know you like to ask me this question all the time. Can men correct women? According to your Bible.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going in and out.
Your mic acting up, yeah.
Yeah. And again, I don't know that y'all brothers.
Won't he do it?
I don't know if we having a genuine conversation right now. I don't know where y'all was raised like that. And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just asking the question. The way I lead is based on how my granddad was he was king of his castle. He directed it and led his house. But guess who corrected the women in my house? For the most part, my grandma did.
Yeah, but we ain't.
Are you saying your grandma didn't say nothing to your granddaddy about it? They ain't have no talks about the correction or nothing.
No. Why would I know? I'm a fucking grandchild.
That sounds facetious.
Really, who corrected your grandma?
Is that KT?
Yo, that's my point. That's why I'm asking if we having a genuine conversation, brother. Because obviously my granddad would have gave my grandma instruction, because again, I said my granddad was king of his castle. So I'm not saying this is some fantasy world where people just know to do, right?
Gorilla is simple. A part of
Well, hold on. I want to
can't
see
be
if you
simple.
just
Can't be simple.
Is
Can't
I'm
be
still going
simple
down the
because
name?
I
it
was gonna
seems
just
like
say one sentence. A part
we
of
get off
protection
more
is
on correcting
correction.
these unruly heifers, because y'all done had a whole hour and a half conversation on Cheyenne Bryant and Diva up here. I ain't heard her utter 2 sentences.
No, she did. She said she's a PhD and she wasn't offended at all.
Hey, so
She said
Brownsville,
more than
Villa, let
that.
me ask you.
Oh, those are the 2 sentences. Shout out to that.
Woo, Diva.
Child.
This one was for the books. This one was crazy.
Yeah, you put in overtime today.
Right. Hey, shout out to everybody that hit the panel today. Shout out to the chat. Everybody did a very good job. We kept it mature. Very good. Shout out to everybody that hit the panel. I appreciate every last one of y'all. Diva, do you got any final thoughts?
Leave them girls alone and bye, y'all.
Nothing wrong with being.
Hype me up.
Let me